it's still Caucasian majority that's running stuff.
Yeah, and this
People are saying, well, if they get the black vote, or if they get the people of color vote, they'll be able to get over there. Not necessarily, because Caucasian group still outnumbers all of us.
well, they out
put
money and they out
together.
guns, all of us.
No, but I mean just person to person. There's more white people than there is.
Yeah, there is.
Because it's all, well, this is 14% of this, and this is 20% of.
How
and,
many?
You know.
How many?
And I'm talking about voters.
Yeah.
Well, how many of those voters that are identified as white are actually passing?
Right, you know. There's
Yes.
a whole nother, that's a whole nother issue, but I mean.
Well, actually, it's not. I hear what you're saying about the 18 and 19-year-olds, but I look at them at this point because of my granddaughter. I look at them as more like we were at 18 and 19. They actually have some people that actually care about shit. You know what I mean?
Well,
That vote.
when
And
What age group you talking about?
I think
They care about themselves.
right.
well,
Yeah.
using my granddaughter as an
They care
example,
about themselves.
Yep.
I'm
Well,
a witness to your
they,
grandchildren.
there are some of them that actually care about the politics and the people that are running, because I actually learned some stuff from her because I had been paying attention the way she had been paying attention.
Yeah, but there is one difference. When we was 18 and 19, we couldn't frickin' vote.
There you go.
We cared about stuff.
Yeah.
We were involved. I mean, we at 18 and 19, we were going into our college years, right? But we couldn't vote.
Well, now you know what? The first time I was eligible to vote, I voted. It was in 1972,
Exactly.
and I realized we were 4 years out of high school.
Exactly.
But I had been paying attention.
That's what I'm saying. We cared when we first got to college, and that's where all the BSU started. That's where all the movement, students demonstrating, students showing that we cared about stuff, but we still couldn't vote. We couldn't vote until we were 21, 22 years old.
Oh, see, now I
Okay,
could
so
vote at
so
18.
whatever. What the point I'm trying to make is this. The point I'm trying to make
Wait a
is
minute.
this.
I could be wrong.
I think so.
I would.
That was 71. I was 21
Oh, yeah,
years
yeah,
old.
Yeah.
And by the time I was 22, which was 72, then people
Yeah.
could vote. I mean, then they said, oh, well, now 18-year-olds can vote. Well, I had been 18 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, right.
So the first, like you said,
Yeah,
the first
yeah,
election
that
that
came
we were eligible
To vote,
for
right.
was 72.
Right now, the 18 and 19-year-olds,
Right.
the first time they're going to be eligible to vote
It's 18.
is this coming election.
Yeah, he's not talking about age. He's talking about the time we're in. The ones that are 18 now, the first time they're going to be able to vote, not when they're 18, is when this next election comes up.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, and my point is, before she was able to vote, and the little circle of friends she had, they were bringing, I was privy to stuff they were talking about,
Yeah.
which was more than I was thinking about. I was way over here, totally forgetting about the people. They weren't.
Okay, so let me try to tighten this up. Would you feel comfortable speaking on behalf of the 18,
No.
19? Okay, so,
Well, I mean, I can
but
address.
do you kind of understand what
Well, he's,
Yeah.
he's closer than we are to 18 and 19.
I was just trying to,
Yeah.
throw something out there. To see
I think like you were saying, I think that today, your typical 18, 19, 20-year-old, they do care. I can see the correlation between you guys at that age and them at this age because there's a lot going on and you do see people standing up and fighting for specific rights or whatever. I think that the approach is different. I mean, it's different because it's different times.
Right.
You think of civil rights era, there was, you had to have a physical presence and then a lot of times was met with a physical backlash. Today, it's more of a social media presence and the backlash could be, your life ruined. Yeah. So there are pockets where people are doing real big things and there's still that hesitancy, I think, just like then. Back then, like, yo, I don't want to step in nothing and get hurt. I've seen it firsthand. People step out on what they believe in on social media and they lose their job. They lost their house, all of this stuff. So to your point, yes, I think there are young people who absolutely care. I don't think there's ever been a time where every young person didn't care. That's not a thing, I think. But as far as how they address it and voting and all of that stuff, I still think that the young people, the 18, 19-year-olds, have the mindset that my generation has is, what is voting going to do? Now, I can go out here and I can change it myself, say, fuck your system, and just go build my own. A lot of people don't want to be in the system. So
That's true. But back then, we couldn't vote, but we still were involved in societal activism.
Yeah.
And I mean, we saw a problem and we addressed it by taking to the streets. It's like in Seattle, for instance, Seattle Central. We got that built by shutting down the old Seattle Central. They had us going to school in a building that had been condemned 3 times at least.
Yeah.
It was built in 1898. It was the old Broadway High School building.
Yeah.
And because we felt that, they built North Seattle Community College, they built South Seattle. Well, what about in the inner city? So we had to take to the streets.
Also to get the construction jobs.
Well, once they decided to tear that down and rebuild, a lot of us took to the streets again because there was no people of color in the construction crews.
Yeah.
And that whole thing, and by the time it was built and everything, A, we weren't there anymore, and B, we could vote.
Right, but it's setting up the foundation for
Right,
those.
but there's still kids like that. But like CJ was saying, you get admonished. You can get your life can be totally screwed up if you go about it the wrong way, or people take it the wrong way.
Okay, so the question is there enough in there to make that a subject we want to discuss without having somebody of that age group here to say, no, man, you got it all wrong.
But basically, we can discuss it in general terms, but even the person that we bring, or one of our grandchildren, or our siblings' children, our nieces, nephews, what have you, that's still not completely representative of all of the people in that generation, just like we were not representative of all the people in our generation.
That's true, but at each age group, like we're the old guys, you're the middle, and the younger guys, it's the same situation.
Sure.
I mean, we're kind of like the Democratic Party. We don't we don't understand or appreciate what they're doing, but our only choice is this party, which they go like, I don't see any difference. I can't
I
argue.
disagree with that. I disagree that we only have A and B. We have C, D, E, F, and G. I mean,
Lots of different ways.
they may not have the manpower or the votes to win, but we still have those choices. Because I know I never voted for a Democrat or B, a Republican in the national elections until Obama. I
Okay.
never did.
I agree with you disagreeing, but can I frame it like A, B, and then from C on down, do they have a seat at the table where it's relevant?
No, but they can affect A and B.
And they can
Have
they
you
can
have
affect
you
the
noticed
change.
now when they do polls, they do Republican, Democrat, then they do non-committed. And non-committed is making more of an impact than ever before that I can remember. Because these guys are saying, well, Trump get this many and Biden get this many, and then whoever the hell else was running against him got this many, and then non-committal has gone from like 4 or 5% to 10% to in some cases 15%. And there's still people who are non-committed, and it's like, you know, me personally right now, I wish I could just vote no for president. I'm just saying.
But your no vote would be non-committed.
That's what I'm saying.
But is non-committed a party? Can
It's
you
not. It's not about being a party. It's about being a segment of registered voters that can affect A and B. So the non-committed are, like you were saying, C on down. We don't have a party. We don't have an organized party. We don't go to the non-committal convention and vote on our delegates. But the thing is, we can vote for. I mean, there is a slot on every ballot that says write-in.
Yeah.
So we can vote for whoever we want to, you know, real or imagined. But the whole thing is,
and to break it down, even at Franklin High School, when we had officers running and whatnot, you know who won for student body president at first? Until they said, what the hell are you doing? Larry Mondello. You know who the hell that is? That's the fat kid on the Beaver, Leave It to Beaver.
yeah. Hey,
So,
I'm serious.
I
Back in
guess
the
I should know that, but
dude, there have been literally millions of votes for Mickey Mouse.
yeah. Or
And
D's
like
nuts.
I say, D's, yeah, that's a comic. That's who goes by that name too. But the whole thing is, it was their way of saying no or non-committal or anything. They didn't travel with the pack.
And the other thing is, for me, it bugs the hell out of me when you watch these beauty pageants or these politicians on TV doing Black History Month, and they say, we're gonna affect change just like my hero, Martin Luther King. Negro. Back in the day when we was coming up, Martin Luther King was a bad word. He wasn't a hero. He was a communist cheater.
The year we graduated, they killed him.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother.
So I mean,
That's a whole nother.
I'm just saying
it's
for
all-
me,
yeah, right,
it's
right.
all connected.
it's all related. It really
Right,
is.
but I was just trying to figure, what can we stab and chew on? Because, I mean, we're all kind of all over the place. So the non-committed thing, how does that equate to numbers? Or how does that equate to you're not committed to these two, which are the same?
Right.
What are you committed to that we could throw out there, say, hey, have you thought about this? Non-committeds have said, let's think about this.
Well, you know what? I think at this point, I think it's like he said. At this point, we don't give a shit. Okay?
We who?
Our generation. Our generation doesn't give a shit. Now we can discuss this, but the other generation, the younger generations, they really got to think about it. Because you know what? They could lose their jobs. They could lose their homes if they make the wrong choice.
Okay,
And the wrong choice in this case could be
yeah.
Democratic.
But to say we don't give a shit, to me,
What I mean by we don't give a shit
why don't you clean that up? Because I know
is
yeah,
we are freer to actually
less to lose.
Yeah. Actually make a commitment to what we actually believe and not what we want to believe.
Let me just interject this. We have a lot more life behind us
Yeah,
than in front of us.
right.
They're just the opposite. They're just trying to start their lives. They're just becoming adults. So to have an opinion that stifles that is something that they have to think about. We didn't think about that. We was like, shit, we can't even vote, but goddamn it, we got something to do because we are going to school in horrendous conditions. We saw this, saw that, took it to, demonstrations to the street and what have you. Then, once we got our way, we said, okay, they're building us a new building. However, there's no people of color. There's no women on the crew. There's,
Yeah.
But a big difference right now. What we were doing, right? What did you do once you got done with your demonstration?
pretty much looked for how I could better myself, and then maybe
I did that too. But the main thing I did, I went home to my parents' house because I was in school and they supported me until I got the hell out of school. So I could demonstrate, I could do this, I could express all this. They didn't necessarily agree with everything I did. But you know what? I had a place to lay my head. I didn't have to worry about losing a job because my income was already coming in. I was part of being supported by my parents. They were supporting me for what I did,
and
expressing myself.
And they had different views on
Everything.
pretty much everything. they had straight leg pants, okay, what the hell.
Yeah. We had the bell on. What's
So
up?
I mean, everything. And we had and they had cabotuses and nice close crop hair. We had wild hair. We had all the white kids had hair down their back. All the brothers had
Froze.
big old froze and stuff. I mean, every generation has to do something so that they're not exactly like their parents or their parents' generation. And so now we are with grandkid to
Right.
to
Now,
sometimes some of
now we're our parents.
yeah. And then we have our offspring, and now we have their offspring. And in some cases,
Yeah.
there are people our age that are great grandparents.
True.
Great.
And some, that's what you say, and some even great. So I mean, we're four in some cases, we're 4 generations removed
Yeah.
So
because they haven't started their lives yet. I mean, they they're in elementary school, they're in junior high, but they really haven't started their lives on their own.
So
They still rely on us.
our age group has compressed, right? And it's continued to compress. So now you got CJ's age group, which, if I just say his age group, that's expanded to somewhere to the bottom of our age group, to the top of the teenage age group. So,
Actually, there's more age groups than that. I mean,
Yep.
yeah,
actually,
there is, yeah.
he's compressed down to the 21-year-olds.
Yeah.
Well, can we add the 18, 19s in
They're
politically?
okay.
into that group?
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
politically, I'd say yeah.
So social media speaking, he's Gen X.
You know, I've never known what those.
I don't
X's and
either.
Ys-
That
I
stuff
what
get on
is-
my nerves.
It's
what
just
is
what the media has said from this age to this age.
I'm about to look
I
it up.
see.
I'm about to Google all of it.
Okay, all right. Like my son is in his middle 40s. My daughter is just about to be 40 now. According to the media, he's Gen X, she's Gen Y or
Well,
millennial.
Yeah, here we go.
You
So
got
who's the oldest out of you guys? You're the oldest, right?
my son?
Man, okay, hold on. Let me go back. I don't know when that cut off because I was reading. Let's try this again. You guys, 1946 to 1964 are baby boomers. And then 1965 to 1980 a Generation X. So that'd be Cliff, that'd be like Rolando, Doug, and Lisa.
Right.
And Teresa.
Right, and then millennials.
Yeah, the millennials are 81 to 96.
My daughter.
So, yeah, I'm a millennial, Megan, Bree, we're millennials. Then Generation Z is 96 to 2012.
That's everybody else.
Oh, they still-
Well, no, okay, so that's like Josh,
Yeah.
Josh and Kendall, they're
Right.
that. Then Generation Alpha, so Generation A.
Then
What the hell, Generation Alpha?
Then it came back all over. They
Yep.
used all
They started
all the
over,
numbers.
so that's people born 2013 to 25 to
Yeah.
next year.
But see, Gen
So that's
Gen Y
TG.
is also called millennials because of the century change. They were born,
Okay.
you know, ain't none of them got 19 nothing on their birthday.
Okay.
Okay? So that's the way the media and social media has broken that down to those generations. And what they don't say is the baby boomers are offspring of what they call the greatest generation.
No, actually, the baby boomers are the offspring of what they call the silent generation. They
Oh, they
were
didn't know that.
1928
They didn't
to
know that
1945. They were the silent generation. The greatest generation is 1901 to 1927.
So that's World War One. So World War Two.
Yeah.
I don't know how they got silent.
Yeah, I've never heard the silent generation.
Because when they came back from the war, boom, babies.
Yeah.
Here we are. But yeah, there's a bit of a conjecture with that because a lot of people said the greatest generation was the World War II generation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now, according to what you're reading, they done broke that up to no, this is the silent generation. The greatest generation was World War I and what have you. So I mean, it's a matter of
Yeah.
you know what you want to believe or whatever. But I mean, you know, the fact my children are 7 years apart, and one is Gen X and the other one's a millennial, which is Gen Y.
Ooh. That reminds me.
And it's weird the how what they call a generation like 1901 to 1927.
27.
So that's 26 years. They're saying is the greatest generation. The 1928 to 1945, 28, 38.
17 years.
Yeah.
Okay, then 46 to 64.
Right.
That's 18.
18.
Then 65 to 80 is 15. Then 81 to 96, 15.
So my
So it's weird that they're not all the same to me.
right, my father was greatest generation, and my mother was now apparently silent generation.
Could it
Because
be?
that ended in 28.
Yeah.
Okay, my mom was born in 30,
Yeah.
and my dad was born in 26. I think they were four years. So yeah, so right there, it's
Could it be what you just read? The closer on that timeline we get to now, the generations are smaller. It's got to have something to do with babies.
Well, let's see. For my generation, from 81, 91, that's 10 years plus, so it's 15 years. The Generation Z, 96 to 2012. So 96, 2006. So there's a 16 years.
16, yeah. So
And then Generation Alpha will be 13. To 23 is 10. Plus 2 will only be 12. Yeah,
see,
I don't know.
that's what I'm saying.
I don't get it.
And then also, if you talk to different people or go and find that from a different source, those numbers will do this. So and like I said, silent generation. That's kind of a new one on me, because everybody was saying, well, after the baby boomer or before the baby boomers was the greatest generation because of the World War II, Korea, and the whole thing.
Could the silent generation, if we can steal it, be the non-committal vote?
Hey, do you remember?
I mean, the name makes sense.
No, but do you remember the silent majority? Remember that term? And that was what you remember that term during our lifetime.
Yeah.
That was like, oh yeah, well this is the silent majority. Well then,
It's because they're not saying nothing.
Right.
We know that they support what I'm
Right.
saying. We can slap anybody we want to.
Yeah.
The silent majority just basically means there is one person or a group at the top that's making the decisions, and
Exactly.
if the majority who's talking
Right.
ain't saying what they want, silent majority said otherwise.
yes, exactly. And so the thing now is, people are breaking stuff down into, well, black people do this, Latino people do this, blah blah blah. Basically, it's still Caucasian majority that's running stuff.
Yeah. And this
People are saying, well, 'cause if they get the black vote, or if they get the people of color vote, they'll be able to get over there. Not necessarily, because Caucasian group still outnumbers all of us.
Well, they outmoney and they
together.
outguns all of us.
No, but I mean just person to person. There's more white people than there is.
Yeah, there is.
Because it's all, well, this is 14% of this, and this is 20% of.
How
and,
many? How many?
And I'm talking about voters.
Yeah.
How many of those voters that identify as white are actually passing?
Right, there's
Yes.
a whole nother, that's a whole nother issue. But I mean,
Well, actually, it's not, because at one point in the 1700s, before the Revolution, 55% of the population of this country, not counting the indigenous people, were non-white.
that's because the colonizers came over, and they didn't come over in big groups until later. So
They
obviously,
came over and scouted and left some people
certainly.
here. Yeah.
There were Africans here who were here free before Columbus came.
There was free, there-
Indigenous.
Yeah.
So I don't buy that crap that Europeans are the majority in this country. I don't buy that.
Where are the coloreds at? Where are they at then?
Well, yeah, that goes back to my original question. How many are passing? I know we got people in my family that are passing.
Well, okay, wait a minute, but you see, I feel like you're taking you're talking about it as if people have some kind of malicious intent, or if everybody knows everything you do. You say, well, what if they're passing? What does that mean to somebody who doesn't know that?
Right.
They're light skinned and maybe they don't even know their heritage, or maybe they know they're part of this or part of that, and you might say they're
Right,
passing,
right,
and
right,
I'm just saying
right.
I'm white or I'm black. I'm not trying to be
Right, and I take that into account. I'm just saying that when some folk go to look at their background and they see that
Mostly
25% black, what the hell?
Mostly, yeah.
And they're blonde and blue-eyed,
Sure.
like my niece.
Certainly. There's
They have no idea.
there's a
But-
lot of people in the South who are Creole, and some of them, if you were just to look at them and say what their nationality or their ethnicity is, you would say they're Caucasian.
Well, you know what? I have a niece right here in Seattle, born here in Seattle. Right now, if she came through that door, y'all would go, "What's that white girl doing in here?"
What's that got to do with anything, though?
No, but
So
I mean-
what? Okay, she white looking. Now what happens? I guess I'm confused at what your point is. Are you saying they shouldn't exist?
No.
Are you saying we shouldn't count them? What is the point of these white people that could pass for black?
Well, it goes back to the majority of the people are white. I don't believe that.
Well, listen,
Okay.
the majority of the people in America, they can break down a whole bunch of different stuff, but looking at them, how they look at themselves, most of the people in the United States are Caucasian.
According to the
Regardless,
census.
everybody that's in this country, I would say very few people are just pure this or
No.
pure that.
No, it doesn't.
And when you
Well,
talk about what people identify as,
Right, that's what I'm saying.
that's where they're
They
lying. Where
identify-
you can't. I guess that's where I'm at. You saying no? I know you're black and you're passing.
Dude.
I identify as this. You shut up.
Dude.
That's honestly where I'm coming. I'm like, I'm trying to put myself in the position of your
Right.
niece, and I'm like, I don't know what she identifies as. I frankly don't care.
Hey.
But if she wants to say, this is my skin tone, these are my eye colors, these are my features, I know what my heritage is, but this is what I'm going to identify as, that's where I'd be like, same thing with transgenderism.
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
like, you know what, do what you want, I don't care.
Identify
And
with-
I move
right.
on. The fact that you're fighting so hard about, I don't know what is I think triggering in me. That's why, I'm sorry, so it has nothing to do with you, but I think this argument I'm triggering, I'm like, man, fuck them, let them do what they want, man.
But okay, as I say,
But what about this?
it's what people identify as, okay? I watched a documentary on the KKK, right? And they said, you know, they were showing these people without their hoods or whatever the hell. And the leader of this particular group he looked Latino. And they accepted him as white and followed him and I'm just saying, it's what people identify as and what people will look at you and say, oh, in any other context, if you took that guy and put him over here, then he would actually be one of the people that the white people didn't care for.
Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I will say this. Listen. If somebody identifies okay, I just
Air
wanna,
quotes, ladies and gentlemen.
if somebody identifies as something, which we're seeing more and more these days, they are identifying as something that we can physically see that you are not. Right there, for me, right there is where the choice comes in. Now, people say I identify as this. I take the road of whatever, dude. I whatever, do what you want. But that doesn't change my internal, which I think the difference between you and I, Father, is you are very external and hyped up. I'm that, but I'm internal with your feelings. I'd be like, yo, this bitch tripping. She ain't black. Rachel Dolezal.
Okay.
You ain't a dude, Miss Woman who's trying to fight everybody. But do you, baby? I don't care.
That's like the third, your cousin, who, if you look at him, he look just like you. Not just like you, but, you know.
Well, he should. I'm
But
very good looking.
but his attitudes, the things he says, and the things he does,
Hey.
and the people he attracts,
But
say that he's a white dude.
but
But he's
listen,
not.
but listen.
That's what you said.
Wait. Cliff, I know you're trying to get something out, but wait, now we having a repartee here, and I got to get back at this real quick.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
I will say this about who you are referring to. He never struck, it was like, I don't think he identifies as white. That is not what I think happened. Okay? But, America, let me tell y'all, me and this cousin did have words exchanged about something. And my take on this, my cousin, my family member here, I don't think he identifies as white. I don't know if he identifies as black. I don't think he identifies white, but I don't know if he identifies black. But he doesn't do anything overt to say I identify with this culture in my mind, but he does say some rhetoric that makes you wonder, what do you see that other black people
And
don't?
how do you see yourself?
Okay, I just want to clear up. I don't think my cousin identifies as white, and if he does, whatever, nigga. But
But the whole thing
sorry,
is,
Cliff, go ahead.
But the whole thing is, remember Dave Chappelle and the Black Klansman? Remember that whole skit?
Yeah.
He was blind, so he identified as being white and a Klansman, but he was as dark as you and I.
But he didn't know that.
But he didn't know that,
Yeah.
so he decided that that's what he's going to identify as, because he had no sight, he didn't know any different.
Yeah.
So those are the people that influenced him to identify as who he was. So it's what a person identifies. It's like what the rest of the people see may not be what you see when you look in the mirror or when you look into yourself.
And okay, now I'm gonna take a little bit of a turn here. Let's put this scenario in place. So, excuse me. Let's talk about identifying as black and what that might look like to somebody who is not black. You know, or what somebody who is not black sees when they look at the black culture.
Yeah.
And their perception, you know, the things that they take in versus us inside of the culture, what we see when we look at the black culture. And I bring that up because I'm just thinking about how interesting, you know, if you talk about black people in the black culture who might not identify as black, does that have to do with how they're perceiving the other black people around them? Or how they were raised, or what? Because somebody can be told by another black person, you're not acting black, but that person is let's talk about the stereotypical thing. Good student, they don't be messing around, they do things by the book, and they say, oh, you're not really black. Do you think we, inside the culture, push people that are already inside the culture out because they don't fit into what we stereotypically think as black?
I do. And I say that as one who just recently, in the last, whenever our last reunion was, and I had some of my black classmates approach me and ask me, why aren't you more black? And I was not stunned. I wasn't taken aback. I just went, I'm shy.
Wait, skin tone or philosophy or
Actions.
politics?
Actions and the people you hung out with.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Exactly.
Add more to that. When you said I'm shy, add on to that. Don't, because I know that's like a joke punchline, but
Right.
I'm shy, and it's because, you know what? When I first went to that high school, the first people that welcomed me, that offered me friendship, weren't black. The blacks were very standoffish. So, and I lived not in a place where the majority of the blacks that went to that school at that point lived. So I hung out with the kids in my neighborhood.
You felt good with. I mean, you felt comfortable.
Comfortable around.
Right, and I got a ride to school. I got a ride home from football practice, and that's all it was. It wasn't about I'm not being black enough, because I went to the same church I go to now.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey,
I sang in the youth choir. I mean, it wasn't about not being black. It was about, this is my neighborhood. I'm hanging with my neighborhood. Y'all got a car. Y'all want me to hang with y'all? Come and get me.
You remember the Russell Wilson incident where them guys was saying, "Oh, Russell ain't black enough."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean,
My best friend.
that's
Yeah,
people
next
saying. You know, that's what people
Yeah,
say.
and you do, because I actually, in my mind, went, nigga. I mean,
But no, I don't want. There's a lot of things that my black friends or my black, well, let's say associates and the people I interacted with, a lot of things they did I didn't want to do. That didn't make me any less black, because if anybody looks at me and they go, "Oh yeah, well, he's black," well, except over the phone. But the thing is, you know, it's like, just because I don't act like y'all act, that don't mean I'm any less black than you are.
yeah.
Well,
You know, and this makes me a lot less white than you are.
well, who determines that?
So-
I mean, is there like, black man? I'm black man. You're not eating fried chicken every day. You ain't black. I mean, who determines that? We've got
See?
to stop determining.
you know,
exactly things for
I honestly feel like it's just like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's one of those things where you'll have a group. Well, in my mind, it's one of those things where you'll have a group, and then one person, and that group will shun that one person for whatever reason. They're not black enough. Now, or even if it's just like 2 or 3 people. Did a superhero black man come out the sky and revoke their black card? No. But what did happen is a seed was planted of the "you're not black enough" seed. And now, whenever they go in circles, they're looking for that. And if they receive it more, now it's just something growing inside them. They're like, well, I don't identify as black. I think that's how you start to grow these, I identify as something else, because where I wasn't accepted for whatever reason. And I feel like that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. We as black people got it messed up of what the black culture is, in my mind.
And the whole,
If you're not wearing Jordan, you ain't black.
Yeah.
Okay, what the fuck are we talking about? If you don't eat this, you're not black. If you don't do, all of a sudden, nothing makes you black. And it's like, well, whatever, I'm mixed anyway, so.
but the whole thing is, you have groups versus other groups, not necessarily because they're not the same ethnicity, but it's because you don't think like I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a Crip. You don't think like a Crip, you're a Blood. You don't think like a Blood. So if I'm a Crip and you're a Blood, well, we have this automatic
Yeah.
division, this automatic right there between us, that for no reason.
Yeah.
We're all
Yeah.
black. We all, it's like if the police, or as they say, the man comes down
Yeah.
on everybody, the people wearing blue and the people wearing red all gonna be going to jail because they're doing something that the powers that be deem not acceptable. So we create divisions amongst ourselves.
And that's not new.
That's a human trait.
Well, but yes, it is.
Yes, it does.
But let's just talk
Yeah.
about. Let's just keep it in the black. I mean, again, another self-fulfilling prophecy. We need to look at light skin and dark skin.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't nobody do that to us. We did that. Well, okay, you can look at slavery. You can absolutely, you can.
That was
Wait,
done
wait,
to
wait.
us.
That was.
That was done to us.
I'm from the South. I'm from the deep South, and
Yes.
I have seen that firsthand. You have black society. You have two levels.
Yeah.
Okay, and Spike Lee's movie School Days. True story. That's the way things are, and I haven't spent a lot of time in the deep South since I, was brought up here by my parents. But the whole thing is, I still see it, and you have a strata. It's almost like a caste system. You have a strata,
Yeah.
and the light-skinned people won't associate with the darker skinned people, and vice versa. For, well, in my case, reasons unknown.
Yeah.
But-
See, and that's
What
why I
you-
say.
what you're saying, yes.
But that's why I say within our own culture. Yes, I know that society looks. Starting from slavery and moving up, society looks, and light-skinned people are put
yes.
one place and darker put
And
one place. I'm
allow
not
them to
saying
do
that is
that.
not a thing. I fully address that. But what I am saying is, regardless of that, outside of our culture, inside of our culture, how we're treating each other, it does not have to be like that. Light skin does not have to look at dark skin as if they're enemies, because they're not.
No.
It's just a different pigmentation. But we've allowed outside the culture to influence what we think
Yes.
should be what. And that's why I say it's a self-fulfilling prophecy of us tearing each other down. So anyway,
It's ingrained,
and somebody's got to say enough. I get we're taught this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
It just,
no,
I
that's all right.
jumped out. I get we are taught this, and it's in our quote DNA. But anything that is learned can be unlearned. You can stop if you choose to stop. I'm not saying it's gonna be hard. Or it won't be hard. I'm saying it's gonna be easy. But I'm saying in anything, if it's this cycle that's tearing you down, it's got to stop somewhere. That's all I'm saying. Sorry, Gary.
No, that's a good point, because you add more value to the show than I am anyway.
That's right.
But yeah, somebody, I don't know who somebody is, and as black people in America, well, first of all, I'll use the term Negro to somewhere that, yeah. We don't have a tribe to go back to. We were brought here, and when the work was done, nobody in Africa came and got us and brought us back and sent us a boat ticket. We don't have a tribe to go back to. Yeah, we're all over the map because we're all over the map. We can't help that. But to your point, somebody's got to stop it. But the scenario, let's say you're the only person of color in this whatever job, factory, okay, and you've been accepted. Maybe not because you're black, but because you do your job. You met some people that say, okay, I don't care what color you are, you do your job, and I like to hang out with you, right? So I was going somewhere with it. So I'll fuck it. I mean, I'm sorry. I was going somewhere with it.
No, but I've seen.
So
that
another
a lot.
black person gets hired. They feel like, oh, you just Tom it out, right? Because they've never been in a situation to get along with other people from other cultures.
Happened in
So
construction
now,
a lot.
all of a sudden, it's your problem because you're able to get along. So how do you?
But see, wait, are you saying it's my problem when the other black person comes in and they're seeing?
Yeah, the other black person comes in and says, okay,
You're
why are you
black.
getting? Why
Why
are
you
you getting
hanging
along
out?
with them?
Why you
See,
hanging out with
right
them?
there, that is a pinpoint. You are a problem. You just, first of all, you just got hired somewhere. Smile, nigga. Okay? Then when you come in here,
Right.
your first thing is not to get to work and make some. Your first thing is to look at me like, well, why you got this? Or what'd you do? See, That's a problem in the societal mind.
Sure.
You came in here with an attitude of like, why you got this and I don't, or why you doing this, and with these, like, why are you even here if you don't even want to be around white people?
Hey, I've
Yeah.
experienced.
Like, why did you?
I've experienced that a lot, like in construction. When we first, young black men were first allowed, because traditionally construction had been all about nepotism.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're already resenting us because we're taking jobs that their son, their daughter, their son-in-law, their niece, their nephew could have. Okay? Now, there were some of us, that went in there, and it was like, I ain't here to make friends. I got plenty of friends, I got plenty of relatives, I got people that I deal with. I'm here to learn this as an apprentice, and then once I became a journeyman, to apply this. I'm not trying to get into your whatever group or whatever. But then there were others of us who it was like, yeah, well, y'all like to hunt and fish, well, I like to hunt and fish, so they're relating on that level. Okay? Some of the others of us looked at them as like, what you doing? How come, and the deal was, those guys in the beginning didn't get laid off as a lot of the rest of us did. Because they hanging, you know what I mean? And then, but you also had young white boys and girls who, it's like they're doing X, they're over hanging out and they washing the boss's car on Saturday and shit like that.
Well,
Right? And so, I mean, that's just,
yeah.
in that case, human nature. But what you're saying, the other black people looked down on or resented or whatever the hell you wanted to say. Me, I just watched it in both ways. I got along with everybody because, well, that's the whole point.
Right, you came here to do a job. You didn't come here to be no
well,
friends
like
with
I said, at
anybody.
first I came here to learn it as an apprentice.
Right.
I came here to learn to do this job, and once I became a journeyman, I just came here to work, put my hours in, go home, and hang with the people that I had been hanging with. I'm not here, like I said.
And it makes sense. I'm not here to say that as you put nepotism or
People,
or just have a hierarchy. People having an inside foot.
right.
That exists. It will always exist. That's just
And that-
that's one of them unfair advantages that you hope you get at some
yeah,
point.
but,
But
but
outside of
they-
that,
yeah.
like you were saying, when you're going into a job, especially one if you're a minority, it's cool to stand on business and be like, I want to represent and bring people in. I want to make. If I'm the only black person here, I want to make black people look good. But like you said, going in and doing the work at a job is first of all the best way to let people know you're there. Don't go in there talking shit. Just go in there and do the work. And then when somebody else comes in, I wish. Now again, when somebody steps in, they step in with their own thought process of things. I wish that it was a thing of if it's another minority. Then they link and be like, brother, let me show you, or sis, let me show you
Certainly.
how you get in a position because they love me and this is what I did. But a lot of times people come in with the attitude of, nah, something ain't right here. And it's just like, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm kind of going around in circles. I'm frustrated at the systems that are in place.
Certainly. As you should be. As you should be. But I mean,
But you know what? I'll put in something here. When I went to my career job at the Lazy Bee, the organization that I went into had a black supervisor and me. There was nothing else, right? So I did my due diligence and got along with everybody. Then another brother came in, and he was all flash, all but he was constantly getting in trouble. I shut up and I put him to the side and said, hey man, you need to chill out, don't do that, don't. But he knew better. know, he was like, I'm gonna do this because they gonna respect me, they gonna this and that. Well, he got laid off. And the layoffs came, right? He got laid off. You know what happened to me?
What?
I got put into another place and told I was on special assignment right before the layoffs started. Laid all these folks off, and once the layoffs is done, they brought me back in.
Yeah, but in your an hourly ranking, it shouldn't matter
Yeah.
Well,
because you're there based off of
Well,
hire,
But
you
have-
hiring and you firing.
But
you
but-
have people that bring too much stuff into
Right.
that unnecessary stuff into go to work, do your job, go home.
right, and-
Right,
okay,
but
in the
you're speaking
meantime-
in Boeing, but Boeing, the hourly workforce,
Yeah,
first hired, last fired.
sure.
That's how it is. In salary, where I was at, you get paid by
Yeah, but
performance, and you might
yeah,
get-
but it could have been different.
It
I
was.
was about to say, yeah, I get how it works, but in that case,
It was
they could have just been like, okay,
No, but
they gotta go.
But
Hey,
the whole
look,
thing is, yeah.
this
I
is
worked in human resources for
This-
many
this-
years.
this is the
so
spot.
I'm just saying.
when I first came in, right? This Caucasian young lady came in the same exact day I did into the same group, right? So neither one of us know anybody, so we're like, hey, you know, and we sit down together at lunch, and the lead man comes over and he tells her, you might not want to sit there, and he just walks off. She goes, why did he say that? And I said, I don't know, but I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move over here. If you want to, you can, but I'm getting the hell away from you.
I'm playing right. and the whole thing is, in the real world, in the world of industry and your employment, you have to learn how to play the game.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to make concessions. I'm not saying you got to sell out. I'm not saying you got to kiss nobody's ass. But the deal is you do have to assess the situation, figure out how you fit into it, go there and move through.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just walk in, oh yeah, all militant or all fucking or all like, you know, afraid of everything. I mean, there's two different ends of it.
And
So just be who you are, do what you're there to do, and try to get along with people. There's gonna be people there that resent the fact that you're there.
Always.
yeah.
And it's not only on a racial situation. It's just I think that my son should have that job.
Yeah.
That's nepotism. Oh, so there's so much stuff to deal with on top of just being stereotyped, let's say, as to, well, I had this trouble with this one black guy the last time he was here, so you're going to put that on me?
Yeah.
I didn't even know, you don't even know me,
Yeah. Or what I can do.
you know,
Yeah.
or what my capabilities are.
Yeah.
Well, that's
You have that. I mean, you have to deal with it in the work world, in the workplace, in you know, whatever situation you're in. And then there's a lot of people that if you're fortunate enough to get in a lead position, there's a lot of people that come in that resent that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Black and white,
I
or
was
Asian, or
told-
any other.
I was told by a coworker to my face at a meeting, team a team meeting.
Team building.
That
That, oh,
and she said, I'm not going to work with him. He's a nigger. And guess what happened to her? Nothing. But guess what happened to me?
Exactly.
Well,
And I hadn't done anything, but she wasn't going to work with me.
Well-
What year was this and where was this?
Lazy me.
It's a Boeing.
I mean, I went through some stuff there from day one up until the day I left. It never changed from 1977 to
Please.
2017, whatever the hell it was when I retired.
Yeah.
The shit, it changed, but it didn't.
Yeah.
It changed, but it didn't.
Bill Boyne wasn't no same.
No,
Anyway,
of course not.
You know,
Yeah,
so
no.
the philosophy of that
Dang.
motherfucker.
Well,
And granted, it was probably, well, I know it was different hourly and salaried.
Yeah, there is a difference.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
Oh,
but,
hell yes.
But I
That's the
do
shit out
believe
salary
that it was
people.
probably a lot harder in the salary because the lawsuits that occurred while I was there
Shit, yeah.
all came from salaried ranks because the hourly guys didn't want to lose that big money they was making.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, you also have to not be afraid to speak up for yourself.
Yeah.
And if something's wrong, you know, okay, it's you versus this person. This person did all this and that, but you can't just sit there and take it and not learn. I mean, you know, as an apprentice, right? I'm on the job. I'm sweeping out trailers and the same young white kid that's in my same class,
Yeah.
he's out there learning how to do stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, first thing I do is I get on the phone like, dude, brought the apprenticeship coordinator down there, right? I'm branded as a troublemaker, but
Yeah.
no, I'm trying to untrouble me.
Yeah.
I want to learn. I'm here to learn how to do this.
Right.
see, but
You know?
and we're gonna wrap this up because you got
Oh,
to
yeah,
go
we
pretty
got
soon.
to.
But
Are you finished?
I do want to say this though. A lot of what the conversation is right now in the workforce is why my generation and the generation after us, this is why we don't want to work in this system. We don't want to go work for Lazy B. We don't want to try to work our way up the ranks. I've worked so hard to get to this point to learn these valuable skills just to have you, for whatever your attitude is, make me sweep the floors. See now, and again, it also is with the change of times. Now, going and applying for a job and they saying this is XYZ, this is what you need to do. It's like, I don't have to do all that. I don't have to go through that. I can start this myself, and this is why you see
Sure.
entrepreneurship.
Exactly.
Because it's like, and again, I am gonna wrap this up, but it's a video I put up of T-Pain, the singer, rapper T-Pain, and he said, y'all think that going to your job and working 2 or 3 jobs is hard work. He said, that's not hard work. He said, that's easy shit. You are going to work for somebody who already got their shit together. You are busy helping 2 or 3 millionaires who got their shit together make their money. He said, they're doing the hard work. The hard work is getting somebody, convincing somebody you don't know
Right.
Yeah.
to come and run your business while you don't have to fucking be there without benefits. He said that's the fucking hard work.
Right.
Going to work every day is not hard. And so with that in mind, that day to day that we're kind of talking about and what it's like is, I think, one of the main reasons why my generation is like, life's too short to be
Sure.
doing that.
But let me just say this: the sweeping of the floors and the rings and material, that was because that's what an apprentice does. So that's
Yeah.
the
Oh yeah, I got
difference,
that.
right. Well, I want to make sure everybody
Yeah.
got that, but
Yeah.
that's the difference. The difference is they're making the young black guys do it more than the young white guys. But I mean, that's part of it. You start at the bottom and your first year, second year, third year, and then once you turn out, you have a career. There have been a lot of young black men who have taken that career and went into business for themselves. And they became the guys, and that was in our generation, so that was passed down to y'all. Y'all saw some of us doing that.
Yeah,
You know?
But again, times have changed. We don't have to go to apprenticeship.
No.
You can go to YouTube University and become
Sure,
the best.
Exactly. Whatever the hell you
And so
want.
again, I wrap it to say these big corporations that have
they
these
don't realize
these
that.
rules and you need to do this
Oh,
and
yeah.
da. This is why they're starting to go out of business. I saw an article, San Francisco. It's weird because you go down on most of the streets in San Francisco, all the big businesses are shutting down because people are not putting up with their shit and going to work. And you talk about price gouging. That's a whole nother episode. Anyway, sorry.
Yes.
We didn't do an opening, but we can wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up, wrap it up. Hey, this was a nice, calm conversation.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us for this calm
We're always-
conversation here on Old Black Men Conversation. I'm one of your co-hosts, Cool Breeze, and we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. It was a very calm conversation, and the thing about it is, it was a very enlightening conversation. It was, in some points, educational, and also, it brought up a lot of things that a lot of people don't want to talk about. Anyway, we will see y'all, or y'all will see us, the next episode. And as I always say, if you liked us, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell everybody. If you didn't, keep it to your goddamn self.
What?
I'm the real Cliff Barnes, sometimes known as Regular Man. And I would just like to say, see y'all next time.
And I'm Gary, your personal street philosopher. I'll just leave you with this. We talked about a lot of things today around how different age groups classify themselves and how they vote. So we want to hear, what do you think? Is there anything that all the different age groups have in common that we can talk about? And what we don't have in common, what's your opinion on why we don't have that in common? So be well, stay safe. I'm out.
Peace.